know that, obviously. Everybody here knows that. Folks here, you can grab a band. We're going to do some band shoulder distraction. Folks at home, doing chest press today. So we want to make sure our shoulders are opened up. So we're going to do a little open both. Okay, you guys here are more than welcome to do both, if not one or the other. But yeah, green one probably. Open books. Folks at home, if you don't have a band to use for a banded shoulder distraction, this is a great exercise to open up our thoracic spine, get our chest opened up. Starting in the fetal position, and big exhale up and around. All right, guys, warm up's gonna be 5 rounds, 4 exercises. Should take you 15 minutes. How is it gonna take you 15 minutes? Well, the first round should take you about 5, and the second round should take you about 3. And then the last 3 rounds, you can turn up the spice a little bit and kind of get, a little bit more heated up or warmed up, so to speak. We are doing chest press today, so we want to make sure our shoulders all around are supported and opened up. So here are your first exercise. Here are your first exercise. No. Here are your exercises. That's a statement all in itself now, isn't it, Preeti? First one's going to be a pullover. So, if you have a bench, you can also use a floor if you don't have a bench. But you want your head and upper back supported, hips a little bit lower than your shoulders, and you're just keeping a flex position in that elbow, and then you're pulling over, activating the lats. Okay, so you're going to get a stretch here on the way down. Be mindful of how far you go down, because you only have to come back up. You don't want to put too much excessive stress on your shoulder. Okay, so elbow slightly bent. Inhale on the way down, exhale on the way over. Think about activating your lats underneath your shoulder. Okay, that's your first one. You're doing 12. Next up, you're going to need a kettlebell or a dumbbell if you don't have a kettlebell, but it's going to be a high pull. Okay, it's the top half of a sumo deadlift high pull. Elbows up higher than the wrist. Simple stuff, keeping that kettlebell close to your body. You want to activate the upper back muscles. Okay, so you're pulling up and back. 10 reps on that. Your third, plank shoulder, no knee. Keep your glutes nice and tight. Boom, 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 boom. Think about keeping that back as flat as possible. As possible. Random shit just pops into my head. Try to keep your back as flat as possible. Doing 10 each of those. And then you're going to do a shrug row, which is basically exercise to get you familiar with how the shoulder blades retract the shoulder. So you're going to take a hinge position here. You're going to do just a shrug up and then one full rep row. Okay, so it's shrug and then a full rep. So that full rep, you want to initiate the movement with that motion first as you pull those elbows back. Okay, doing 12 reps of those. So again, first round, take your time. Second, take your time. Third, fourth, and fifth, bring in some heat. Okay, should take you about 15 minutes. Work period. 10 sets, basically 10 sets of chest press mixed in with some dead bugs later on. But the first half of your work period is going to be 5 sets worth of progressive overload. You guys here have plenty of equipment to, I hope you use all of it. Progressive overload yourself into a frenzy. 10 down to 2, right? Increasing the weight, decreasing the reps. Folks at home, you're going to slow your cadence down, slow your negatives down. That's how you can build up more tension and still get the same kind of effect. We started that in quarantine a while ago, and it really was enabled us to keep on progressing, so to speak, without using heavier weights if we had limited equipment. Now, I'm explaining all this, so I want to spend more time on the reason behind the reason for you doing all of that kind of retracting and pulling back and making sure the back muscles are activated, including the lats. Why do you think you do that? What's the primary mover? What's the primary joint function in a chest press? Joint, not muscle. We know the chest is working. We know the pecs are working. We know the triceps are working and the delts. But what's the primary joint function? Anybody? Scapula. Joint function now. That's the scapula. That's perfect. The shoulder, scapula, what's it doing though? You're doing a chest press. It's pushing, right? So it's flexing. It's a flexion exercise, right? It's also protracting. I'm giving you some nerdy trainer terms because I want you to think about the movement. I'm gonna lay on my back right now, right? And I want you to think about all the movements you just did. With those dumbbells, you retracted them back. You were doing your shrug rows. So you pulled back first, right? So when you're dropping these weights, or you're lowering them, I shouldn't say drop, that's a bad word when you're talking about chest press, but you're retracting your shoulder blades down, and you're building some support around that shoulder blade because you need it when you press forward, the protraction. Okay, so it's retracting. Think about opening up your chest and using the bench for support as you blast the rep up. Does that make sense? On the bench, retraction, protraction. Okay? Folks at home, if you're doing a floor press, same thing. You just might be limited with your range. Not might be. You will be limited as how far you can go down because your elbows are going to touch the floor. Right? But if you have a bench, this is what we're doing. For the first 5 sets, you're trying to find your 2-rep max. Folks at home, again, you're finding a cadence that you can use. The second half of the work period, I should note that everything is going to be every 2 minutes on the minute. Okay, second exercise of the second half, after you do your 10 seconds of as many reps as possible on that bench press, I forgot to note that. You're going to do some dead bugs. Opposite. Really bringing that knee into the ball, pulling, and pressing that hand. Opposite. Right? Yeah. Making sure that lower back stays flat on the floor. Okay? Simple stuff with those dead bugs. I apologize, but you guys know how it's going down for the second half? After you find that 2-rep max? Yeah? We're going to use 60% and do 10 seconds and as many reps as possible. That's all going to be relative. Folks at home, you're going to use that. You're still going to use a fast pace. You're not going to do the slow anymore with that 10 seconds. All right, guys. It's either on cue or not at all. Do it again. 1, 2. Tabata style. 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, alternating between 2 exercises. First, the Plyo Push Up. Yes, more shoulder shoulder what? Protraction. Okay. Now, plank position. Okay? Or your knees. Here, obviously, we're still looking for that explosive. If you want to use the bench, it's just bringing you off the ground a little bit. Same thing, same rules apply. Squeeze your glutes, keep the trunk nice and tight. Key component is try to push evenly. Okay? 20 seconds of that. A quick 10 seconds rest, sort of. But you're going to have to get yourself ready for the next exercise, which is a gorilla row. So, hinge at the waist, simple stuff. 1, 2, alternating. I'm counting, but you guys shouldn't be counting. You should be just working on your form and doing the reps. Think about pulling low, low. Okay? That's your next 20 seconds. Rinse and repeat. 8 rounds, or 8 times. It equals 4 minutes of work. Let's go.